Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bilikis. How you doing? It's been a long time. I'm sorry. But I'm back. Today's class will be on how to make this stylish dress I have here. Can you see how beautiful it is? It is a must-have dress. Can you see that handkerchief yoke it has with a bit of flair? I'm going to show you step by step on how to make that. Yeah, and if today is your first time of checking out my channel, you're welcome and in the right place. Please make sure you subscribe and tap on the notification bell. You can follow me on Instagram, Bilikis Signatures, and on Facebook, Sewing Innovations. Please check out my other channel, Pattern Drafting with Bilikis, Bilikis Kitchen, for lovely food recipes. And in case you are interested in our online classes and sewing tools, please, the contact number is in the description box below. So right now, let's go to the work table. This is the dress pattern for my little mannequin. It is just easy. If you've been following me, you should be able to make your dress pattern easily. Just decide the length of the dress you want. Then you need to insert your half of your armhole, your waist measurement, your hip measurement. So for instance, my bust circumference is 42. All I have to do is to divide by 4 to have 10 and half. Then insert it here plus seam allowance. The same thing for the waist, but looking at the waist, I added more seam allowance because you want it to be loose. Then also at the hip, you insert quarter of your hip measurement plus seam allowance, and then you connect it. So I have both the front armhole and back armhole, back neckline and front neckline. So right now, let's get started. I'll be making use of this fabric. The first thing you need to do now is to cut the back panel. Because there is a design on the front panel, we will need to cut a full front pattern. So since the back we can just cut to unfold, so that will be the first thing I'm going to do now, to cut on fold. After folding, place your pattern on it. So this will be for the back. The back is ready, as you can see. Then for the back, if it is okay for it to pass through your head, it's okay. If not, you can just have a slit here for buttonhole. Can you see that? Then you put a button in it. So having done this, the next thing I'm going to do now is to place this on another paper to cut on fold like what I have here. Can you see? But if you are drafting for yourself, I would advise, instead of wasting your pattern paper, just fold your paper before you start drafting, so that you can just save your fabric. Just cut for the back as we did, and then you use it for the front. But since I have the pattern, I just had to cut it out. So after doing this, the next thing is to create the design we want. I want it starting from the armhole here. So this is what I want to have. Passing through the middle. Then straight to somewhere like this. So not to the end, but you leave some spaces just as I have on the one I showed you earlier on. see that. So this is going to be cut out the same way, and for this we are just going to slash and spread it up. And just draw as many lines as you want. So depending on how much flare you want, now let's start cutting it up. So all the seam allowance has been added to all my pattern, as you can see from here. So when I'm cutting on the fabric, all I have to do is to add 1/2 inch seam allowance to this part and also to this part. Add 1/2 inch, add 1/2 inch. Just cut this up. Don't cut through. Good. So let's start cutting for the front. I have my fabric here. It's not going to be folded because we have the full front pattern. So I'm going to cut this way before this, and just move this upward. Don't forget the seam allowance. You can measure yours, but I'm going to eyeball it. Now we have the front panel. Then when you are cutting it, you need to be careful. Like now I'm cutting on the right side, so has to have the flare on this side, because if you place it on the wrong side, that means you'll be having this curve here. So you need to be careful of that wherever you want the handkerchief flare to be. So now we have the front ready. Now let's cut the flare. We want some space to be here because of the extension, and then I will advise you to cut it on bias so that you have the flare coming out so well. Can you see? On bias is here, and you can spread as much as you want, not too much. What I will do now is to just trace it. Remember, we are going to add 1/2 inch to this side. This is the armhole region. Good. So have a note that, and this hand here. Then we need to extend this part, so it depends on how long you want it to be. So somewhere here is okay, and I can remove this. So you can just make it a bit curved. So that's what I have. So this is the armhole region. Then you can add the 1/2 inch. So here there's a shortage, so when cutting yours you should be careful. You need to note the armhole region. So for the front now, this is what we have. So the same allowance is going to overlap each other. So then you have something like this. And you see that's so beautiful. And then the back. Now this is what the dress looks like. So that's pretty easy. So now let's start sewing it up. First thing I'm going to do is to join the front panel to each other. So you're going to take your time, starting from the armhole region, because you are walking around some curves there. You see everything matches perfectly. So I'm going to take to the sewing machine now to sew half an inch all down. The yoke to it. So another thing you need to do is to notch. You really need to notch because of the curve. Make sure you do not cut through your seam. Sleep so well. Let me see. The next thing now is to take the back panel and make sure right sides are facing each other. Can you see that? So I'm going to take ½ inch at the shoulder. Remember I told you if you want a high neck, then you have a slit at the back. But in case you don't want that, it's wide enough, all well and good. But my mannequin is headless, so it's going to do just fine. So ½ inch, and then I'm going to sew ½ inch by the side here and also by the side here. After sewing up, this is what I have. So beautiful. Can you see that? Another back on the wrong side. Let me turn it to the right side. So what I will do now is to give it a good press. Wow, so beautiful. Can you see that? Another back. So let me give it a good press and put on the mannequin. This is the result of the dress we've just made. So wonderful. Can you see that? Ensure you make for yourself and share with us on our Facebook group, Sewing Innovation. Tag me on Instagram, Bilikis Signatures. Don't only make for yourself, also your baby girl. I have to go. Bye, guys.